Architect conceptions.
In your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody.
Notes. What's going on, man? News. Listen, question. How do you feel about people saying this meeting is a waste of time? It shouldn't even happen. We got some dreams that need to be saved. Notes.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm just trying to be the greatest with my crown, cause I'm a king. Had a dream, I free my people hearing Martin Luther's speech. I'm inspired by the culture, so music is what I bring. Yeah, I'm inspired by the culture, so music is what I bring. Yeah, I'm inspired by the culture, so music is what I bring. Please forgive me, I'm just trying to be a better you. I made decisions like a man, I had to struggle too. And all the pain that I endure, I gave my family truth. And all the tears that I shed, I lost a lot of troops. Tried to give the culture real, see they fast asleep. You see the system working hard to destroy us, see? I'm just here to give you knowledge, paint a masterpiece. You see our people at war, killing young and kings. I'm just standing for a purpose, cause purposely, they really rape my ancestors, fuck my history. I'm still mad about the pain, all that misery. I'm still hurt behind the lies that kill enmity. If they see it how we see it, they would never sleep. You see betrayal, stop the dream, more democracy. Tell my people, read the facts, never watch the news. All my people seeking freedom, speaking Martin's truth. We rebuilding the feeling, crown as a snapple fact. Black owned, we moving to take them corners back. Hustle trends that move, we call it fade to black. God did it, Ho said it, so I'ma state the facts. So sorry, not sorry, this is some classic rap. Me and Crown on the track, sparking a revolution. Two kings with a dream, willing to fight the power. Kobe Shaq in the booth, going back to back.
Hey, Chris, question, even in the news. How do you feel about people saying this meeting is a waste of time and shouldn't even happen?
United we stand, divided we fall.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I'm just trying to be the greatest with my crown, cause I'm a king. At the window with the Mac like Malcolm, can let it ring. I'm inspired by the culture, so music is what I bring. Inspired by the culture, so music is what I bring. I'm inspired by the culture, so music is what I bring. Fix your crown, king. I ain't goated, it's duly noted, but everything he make it sounds astounding. Fix your crown, king. Keep spinning and killing children. Your karma gon' come when you feel the pound sing. Check your throne, dog. You got my queen and Louis Celine. G's where you laying, it's not your home, dog. Oh, you grown, dog? With gang, that don't mean a damn thing till you go and get it your own, dog. Mama taught me better, never follow guys. Auntie beat me to do homework. Granny slipped me low five, so I ain't need a want from you. But you know greed, I proceed to stick to the block like it had gorilla glue. Homie, you ain't feeling who? I paid dues and follow the rules. Used to bring tools when I did interviews. I'm talking jobs, no podcast. Focus on my craft. Now punches hit your head like a speed bag. Her Apple in my laptop. Told her get knee pads. Your favorite rapper's favorite rapper, better believe that. Concrete street in my heel toe. Both feet planted, still kick it like field goals. Niagara Falls, this is beautiful when it's real flows. Martin had a dream, Malcolm gripped up the steel low. They both right. Chris Crown and Notes right, this GOAT type. Whole vibes can't win alone, I had to quote Mike.
The appalling silence and indifference of the good people who sit around and say, wait on time. Social progress never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. It comes through the tireless efforts and the persistent work of dedicated individuals.
We are Black Americans, and we have a problem that goes beyond religion. We formed a group known as the Organization of Afro-American Unity. And the objective of that organization is to bring about a condition that will guarantee respect and recognition of the 22 million Black Americans as human beings.
Now, this is very laudable, but how?
Well, by any means necessary.
Peace, everyone. We are here for another great episode of Let's Get Activated podcast. This is episode number 166. This is your girl, Same, hosting. We are live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter X. You can also catch the audio replay on Culture Shock Radio, Rockbox FM, Raptor Music FM, Radio for Seo, and Gnarly FM. Please be sure to download the Village Global Network app so you can catch it all. So tonight, we're going to have a great conversation here. I'd like to introduce tonight's guest. We have artist NOTES82 in the building.
How you doing? I'm glad to be here.
Hey, doing great, feeling good, feeling blessed, We just had, a very, very, great, visual and song to start it off,
Yes.
with a very deep message.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that was Martin Malcolm. Do you kind of want to talk like a little bit about the video and the premise?
Yes. So I'm gonna give you a little rundown. I'm not gonna take too long with it. But Martin and Malcolm was a song that I had one verse to and I had a hook. And I just couldn't find the right artist for this song. And I had this song probably written in the tuck probably for about 6 months. And then I was planning on dropping an EP. And I ran across, well, he's my brother now, Chris Crown. And I was watching him for a while. I bought a couple of his EPs, his albums, heard some singles that he had. And I said, you know what? Chris Crown would be dope on this record. Ironic thing about that is it was Juve around the time, and I was still living in Connecticut. And he was out and about, and I hit him one night. And he was like, man, I'm a little bit, kind of tipsy. And he said, man, but I'm going to get this verse to you in the next 3 days. Before I knew it, before he did Juve, he was in the studio. He drops the verse, sends it to me, and I'm like, nah, we got to do something. So I immediately sent it to my engineer. We put it all together, fixed it up. I dropped the single. I got a lot of love from that single. We both did. And then I was like, look, crazy thing. I was like, this was my present to myself after I left Connecticut and came back where I'm at now, down south. I said, we got to shoot a video to this, man. So we shot a video. It was very inspiring because Dr. King and Malcolm X were people that we hear like heroes. We heard about them growing up. And I hear a lot in the media, a lot of scrutiny that they got because of the way they were, but they stood for what they believed in. Even if it was different messages, they both stood on what they believed in. And what they call it now, these kids call it standing on business. They stood on business and never wavered from that. So the song was based off of that and our beliefs with them and what they brought to the table while they were here. Ironically, they were taken away from us, but we're not gonna get into that. We know how the world was then. But I wanted to take on the role of Martin, and Chris Crown took on the role of Malcolm. And in the video, we wanted to show you guys, yes, we know they had to sit down, but I felt like if with the knowledge that we have now, the knowledge that they would have gained if they still were alive, that sit down would have been a little bit more different if they came back around, if they both survived what they were supposed to survive. But obviously they didn't. But if they survived, that conversation would have been something different. So I just feel like for me, it was a tribute to Brother Minister and a tribute to Martin Luther King.
It was. And you know what else I liked about it? Including the kids in the visual.
Yes. So that was my son Lamont. He's the 15-year-old that Chris Crown was rapping to, and they were taking pictures in the basketball. And then my 8-year-old son Isaac, which that was their first acting debut, and they did a masterful job. They even kept me calm. I was a little anxious about this video, and I hate stumbling over my words, but I was kind of stumbling. But I said that's because they were in the presence of, I was in the presence of my kids, and they were like, "Look, Dad, you got to calm down. You're great at what you're doing." So that's what I did. I calmed down with them being there, and it turned out to be one of the great videos of last year.
It really was, and then just incorporating, them into it. And it kind of shows that, okay, we're passing this down. We're passing this knowledge down, to the youth.
Yep. Yes. Yep. That's correct. So for me, it made me feel like a proud dad. I know for them, they're like, hey, my dad's up here, he's shooting a video. I'm like, no, it was the proudest moment for me just having them in the video and them watching greatness and them watching us being inspired by two of the most important men in history.
Yes, definitely. And that was actually on, your first EP that you came out with this year, The Vision,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Correct. And what was the
Yes.
purpose behind, the Vision EP as a whole?
So the Vision EP, right? So for me, if you know me, I'm strategic with stuff. So the Vision was something that I would say about 13 years ago, I came up with the idea that I wanted to do a mixtape. But at that
Mm-hmm.
time, which I'm a little bit more advanced now, where I didn't really know the music industry from ins and outs. So it never got the love that it was supposed to get. Now, mind you, the songs that's on there are not old. Those were songs I just wanted to use that premise to say I want to give people the vision. So the vision was really, I wear glasses, obviously, but it's I
Right.
want people to see what I see behind my lens. So that was the premise of the vision. I want you to see how I feel about my life, about God, about history. So that's what the vision was really, just to let people sometimes we see it from the standpoint of our fans and our people that like our music, but I want them to see it from my standpoint. I want you to
Right.
feel what I feel. I want you to understand where I'm coming from and why I do music. So that's why the vision came out that way.
Got you, got you. And and so before we get into, additional music you've done, what, made you decide to become an artist?
So I'm gonna say this. So I fell in love with hip hop. I always say that. I fell in love with
Yeah.
hip hop. And I owe that to my brother. I think for me, he's 5 years older than me. And he was fresh in the He was in the '90s, thing. I was there too, but he was a little bit older. And I think for me, it was more or less like him bringing those Wu-Tang tapes home and those Biggie Smalls tapes home and Rakim and taking the cassettes, putting under his mattress, putting under the mattress with the Walkman. Don't touch my Walkman, but I'm a kid coming up. I'm gonna touch your Walkman. I'm gonna listen to these
Right.
songs. So I think I predicate that off. I dedicate that to him. Showing me the way, and whether he didn't know it or not, he did. By sneaking those tapes and listening to those tapes, it gave me an inspiration. But far as you fast forward, being in school, high school, and seeing people, the bebopping and people, banging on the table, and we just started cipher, a cappella. That inspired me. So that really inspired me. So for me, I just think once I got inspired, hip hop became something that was never going to leave me. It's probably going to leave, and probably not even then when in the grave, but my soul will carry on as it pertains to hip hop. But that's how I fell in love with hip. It really started from my brother, and then really those ciphers in high school, and then even around the neighborhood, people rapping in front of the building, and you joining into a
Hmm.
cipher, even losing some battles that I had and rapping. Those were experiences that I will never take for granted because it made me the artist that I am today.
Hey, and King Kamal is a great question here for you, kind of piggybacking off of that. He says, that's a good hip hop influence selection. What song actually moved you that made you say, I gotta be part of this culture?
It's so many of them. Let's see here. I'm gonna say, and I'm it really because everything kind of inspired me, but I'm really gonna say, "It Ain't Hard to Tell" by Nas, Illmatic.
Okay, okay,
Um,
yeah,
that really inspired me because I just and it's so many elements to that song. So if people don't notice this, Nas never cursed in that song. He never cursed in that song. And we know Nas, we talking about the younger Nas to put curse songs in that song, but people
right.
don't know the levels behind that. Um, it was a Michael Jackson sample. Michael Jackson actually had to approve of that sample being released. If you hear it ain't hard to tell, that's a Michael Jackson sample. And that right there inspired me because I knew that as a youngin. That wasn't something I had to look at a podcast and say, "Oh, I knew that." I knew that as a youngin because that was
Hmm.
my upbringing. My mother and my father played Michael Jackson. They played Prince. They played Earth, Wind, and Fire on those Saturday mornings where you had to clean up the house before you can go outside.
Yep.
So it ain't hard to tell is really one of those songs that really sparked something in me as a youngin that has me here today wanting to tell my story as well. Because if you think about Nas, grew up in the projects. I grew up in the project. I'm not saying I'm Nas, but
Right.
that dynamic of somebody making it out of the slums and to what he is now is incredible to me. So it ain't hard to tell. That's kind of like one of my favorite songs of all time. But that sparked everything for me.
That's a great spark. And hey, like I like how you say, you're saying I'm not Nas, but you're saying this resonates with me, and
Yeah.
that's what, music and hip hop and the feeling is about when something resonates with you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Looks like Floss 247 has a question. He said, what do you prefer, writing in the studio or writing at home? And how do you know what you created is good enough to release it?
Ooh, I know who that is. That's my brother from Brooklyn, Johnny Floss. That's a good question. So for me, I like writing at home. I can write in the studio, but I always think about this. I always want to be prepared when I go to the studio. I don't want to get prepared while I'm in the studio because I think that's a waste of time. And I've learned that from so many artists that I work with over the years. Um, and that's just me. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with writing in the studio. I just want to be prepared. It's business to me. It's like a 9 to 5 to me. So when I go to the studio, I want to be ready. Everything's written. I can go in the studio. Let's go ahead and knock these songs out. I want to knock out as many songs as I could possibly knock out when I'm in the studio. That's just how it is. And far as the second half of that question, where he asks, how do I know when it's good to release it?
Hmm.
I think I know that once I write a record. I think I'm a great writer. So for me, as soon as I write a song and I record it, I know it's well, I'm gonna say this. If it's a single, I know I'm gonna go ahead and automatically I'm gonna put it out. If it's a project, it might take a little longer to put it out because it's a project, and I want to
Right.
make sure that song meshes well with everything else I have in the mixing pot, because that's what I call it. It's all about mixing it up and putting the right ingredients in to create something incredible.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You're right, because you can't just, especially when you're doing a project, like you said, it's a process. It takes time. Every song has to kind of just tell the story, and it's just got to,
Yeah.
it's got to be congruent. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Definitely, definitely. Do you remember like one of the first songs that you ever wrote?
You know what's funny? The first song I ever wrote, where are you saying it like far as recording it or just writing it?
Just writing it.
So the funny thing about that is, right? The first instrumental, because I'm gonna say it's back in the day. I hope these kids understand what instrumentals are. But the first instrumental that I wrote to was it ain't hard to tell.
Oh, see, there
So
you go.
it ain't hard to tell. So yes, I do remember writing my first. That was my first verse that I ever wrote down on paper. But I'm gonna tell you something, a little secret here. So
Hmm.
that wasn't my first time because I always think music is poetry. So
Right.
before I was a rapper, I actually used to write poetry on paper bags, on anything I could find. If I didn't have paper or anything and I wasn't in school, I would write on something just to put. So poetry was my thing to write first. So um yeah, but it ain't hard to tell was basically my first written thing that I wrote a rhyme to.
Got you, got you. So that makes a lot of sense. And then, like how you say, yes, poetry. That's really where it starts at. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what it is. It's poetry. Just
Yep.
putting poetry over, instrumentals, basically.
Hmm. Yes. 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 Definitely.
You know, true. So true. So true. So after you were doing that and
Hmm.
writing, so do you like even remember like your very first recording? Yes, we'll extend that question. Your very first recording that you've done.
My very first recording was a studio that one of my friends I went to high school with, and when we graduated, he was like, "Man, whenever you feel free to come down and come record something, come record it."
Mm-hmm.
So in the mix, it took me about a year after I got, but then I called him one day and was like, "Hey man, what you doing?" He's like, "Man, I'm kind of busy. I got some people coming down to the studio." I was like, "I want to come down." This man literally shut everything down. Was like, "Look, bro, I could push these sessions back. I need you to come." So I came and I recorded, and I loved it. I loved it. From that day forward, I knew that something was special with me, and I've been recording ever since.
Got you. And when was your name Notes 82 born?
Oh man, everybody asks me that question because that unique 82 at the back of my name.
Hmm.
So notes, I'm gonna tell you not the 82 yet. The notes came from when I was a younger lad, I'm gonna say younger lad because I'm not
Right.
that, right. I used to, like I told you, I used to walk around and I would write. Like if it's summertime, we're not in school. I don't have paper on me. But if I went to the store, get a quart of water, something like that, or chips or something, and if something that comes to my mind, I would write it down. It didn't matter what it was. I mean, it could have been a napkin. If I had an idea, I would write it down. Years later, I know now this right here is the best thing for you to have. But as we get older, you forget things. But younger, I
Right.
used to write stuff down. So I didn't want to be called like my brother was like, you just like the Notebook, and I'm like, I don't want to be called the Notebook because that back in the day, you remember the movie The Notebook? I don't
Oh
want to
yeah,
be,
I remember that. Yeah.
So he kind of shortened it and called me Notes.
Okay.
And then my yeah, he called me Notes, and then it just kind of caught on as I started becoming a rapper and writing and stuff like that. Now the 82, ironically, I was called Notes up until the first time I moved to South Carolina. It was 2007 or 8. I don't want to quote that and say it might be correct. Yeah, 2008, right? And I left New York City, came down, got a job down here, and I just wasn't inspired no more to do music, right? And I was down here for at least probably 5, 6 years, maybe 7 years. And then it dawned on me that I'm like, it's something missing from my life. I got my
Mhm.
family, I got my wife, I'm living good, I'm in the house, cool, right? But something was missing, and that missing piece was hip hop. So comes back to the question when you asked me about the
Mhm.
Vision mixtape. I came back almost, no, it was 10 years. 10 years later, I came back and was like, hey, I want to do this. My wife said, if you're going to do music, you can't just do it as a hobby. You're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to go crazy doing it.
Right.
So I released that mixtape, and basically it was my way of saying 10 years of being gone from the music, and then coming back 10 years, then 2 years later, coming back and putting out this project. That's where the 82 come from. Ironically, the 82 is my birth year,
Mhm.
but it took me 8 years, 8 years to want to come back, and then 2 years later, 10 years, and that's where you got the 82 from. But ironically, it is my birth year. It is.
I like that it has, meaning to it. I think it's so important when people are, coming up with their names, have a meaning to it,
Yep.
and have it make sense and be, pleasing. Because
Yeah.
there's some names out there you'd be like, all right, what
Oh.
are we doing here? You
And
know.
here's the thing too. I
Mhm.
had to change it up too as well. I mean, the
Mhm.
significant meaning, but learning the business. When I
Right.
started going in with the names and stuff, you had people that were called Notes, so I couldn't just call myself Notes. So ironically, that significance of 8 years not being in the game and 2 years coming back, 10 years, 82, it just made sense.
Right. And how did you feel like, once you came back, I know you felt like that, like hip hop was a missing part. So for
Yeah.
you, when you came back, did you just feel like, all right, I'm about to go full throttle with this 24/7 almost?
Yeah, I did. I did. And I and believe it or not, I really felt like when I did leave the first time, I felt like that was it for me. But for me, I don't know. Once me and you finally getting to know each other and stuff like that, I'm a passionate person about everything. So for me, when I did come back and said I'm going to do this, I was like, man, I'm going to be on fire. Somebody's going to recognize me. And whether it be a major label or maybe an independent label, maybe just some of my peers recognizing me, that's all that counts for me. But hip hop was the missing piece to the puzzle for me. And for me, I will never stop. I will never. And we artists, we get to that point sometime where we just want to stop. And I'm just like,
Mhm.
don't stop doing what you love. And that goes out to
Right.
everybody here. Don't stop doing what you love, because guess what? You're gonna be a miserable person walking around saying, "Oh, it's okay. I can just leave music." And I was miserable. I was not in my life. My life, I love my kids. I love my wife, but it was just something missing for me because I was put here to do music, and
Right.
that's you have to follow the blueprint that God has on your life. And I believe for me, and I believe that. I don't care if anybody else don't
Mhm.
believe it. God has a calling for me in music, and that's why I won't stop. Notes 82 is here until the casket drops, and probably even beyond that. That's why I put out so much music.
Yes, I agree. I always say this, do what you love, do what you love, do what you're passionate about, because if not, you're going to regret it. You know what I mean? And there's so
Definitely.
many different levels of how we measure success. I always say, don't
Mm-hmm.
compare it to somebody else. You're a different person. It's you. You measure your own success. But the success is if you're still able to continue to do what you love, it doesn't matter how old you are, to
Yeah.
me, it's ageless. If you got it, you got it. Just do it.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. A lot of people feel, oh, I'm old, I'm this. I said, let me tell you something. I said that old style stuff is better than some of this new stuff. So you better recognize and put people on game and say, hey, sometimes it's good to go back to the music that we grew up on. Because that music had some type of substance. I'm not saying in this era they don't have that, but that music that I grew up on, and I'm not even talking about hip hop. I'm talking about as a young child, the music that was sold on me by my parents. Listening to, because me, I wasn't when I was younger, I wasn't a hip hop head. We had
Mm-hmm.
those Temptations, we had James Brown, we had Michael Jackson. Those are records that was put in front of me by my mother and my father.
Yeah.
And I appreciate those records now. And I say, man, I got an old soul because now I'll be in my car playing some stuff. And I'm like, man, I remember this when I was like 10 years old. So
Yeah.
for me, like I said, enjoy and that's the thing about me with music. I'm just not an artist. I'm a fan of music in general. And that's where artists have to understand. You can't just say I'm in love with hip hop. You have to be in love with the whole genre of music. That's just how it is for me. And I'm not saying that they,
Mm-hmm.
they got to do that. That's just me. I'm in love with all types of music, because
Mm-hmm.
it shapes you as an artist. You can't be stuck in a box because once
Yep.
you're stuck in a box, that's it. You have nowhere else to go. Where are you going to go?
Exactly. No, I agree with you. Like I always say, I mean, look, like you just said, most of us, we grew up on like the Temptations, Michael
Hmm.
Jackson, Parliament, all of them. We grew up on all these different elements, rock, pop, all of that, a mix, R&B, soul,
Hmm.
James Brown, like James Brown, he's the most sampled,
Yes.
artist in hip hop.
Yes.
Okay. So that's telling you something there. So you
Hmm.
can't just say, oh no, I only like this. No, because it derives from all these different genres.
It does. It does. And that's what makes you an all-around artist. And that's what I believe, that I'm an all-around artist because of the elements. I love the elements. When I hear a beat, I'm just like, okay, I'm not just saying, oh, that's a sample. I'm listening to the melodies. I'm listening to the guitar. I'm listening to the bass. I'm listening to the drums. That inspires me.
Yes, and certain music, like music. I was just having this conversation, the other day,
Hmm.
like music with substance, that ages well.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
timeless with the message. Some stuff that's out today,
Yeah, you're right.
it's
You're
it's not
absolutely correct.
it's not going to age well. And so it's like, what are we doing here? Like, why are we wasting time and money making this for a little bit of 5 minutes of people listening to it, and then that's
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so I definitely want to, salute you, because with you, I noticed, listening to your music, it's the message behind it. It has
Hmm.
substance, and that's what we need. I
Yeah.
appreciate anybody giving us, substance and messages, within the music.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. Most definitely.
Definitely. And then it's like and also being yourself, right? Being true to yourself.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that I've learned from my mother, my father, my brother, and just family members in general. Be yourself. It's nothing wrong with, and I hate saying this, that it's nothing wrong being yourself. People should understand you were made in your own image. So go out and do what you're supposed to be doing. Everybody wants to be like somebody else. Me, I've never want to be like that. I want to be me. And whether people think it's corny I don't care. I'm gonna still be me, and that's just how it is. Here's the thing:
Hmm.
I can't be fake for the world because I'm not fake for my kids. I don't fake for my wife. I don't do none of that stuff because at the end of the day, once you tell a lie or put out there that you're faking it, it's over for you
Right.
because now you're gonna believe the lie that you're telling. So why not tell the truth? Because once you tell the truth, nobody can tell you nothing. Now you're not gonna feel a way about somebody saying, "Oh, that's not true." Okay, cool. I don't care how you feel. If you feel that way about me, cool, man. At the end of the day, I'm not trying to prove nothing to anybody in this world, especially people that are just not critics. They are haters. That's my thing. I'm not trying to do
Hmm.
that.
Right. No, I feel that. Have you ever like experienced, anybody, let's say record execs or whoever trying to say, trying to make you change or try to say, oh, you should change this and do that? And how did you handle that situation?
I heard that, you're just in the box and the boom bap stuff is going away. And I'm just like, no, it's not. It'll never go away. So for me, I've always been a confident person. So somebody could come to me and try to break how would I put my integrity or my pride. It's not going to happen this way. I'm just always been a person that I don't have a chip on my shoulder, but I've always been a person that's I feel like I'm here. And I'm not saying above people, but I feel like I'm above all of the drama and all of the hate and all of the spewed of hate being put out there in the
Mhm.
world. I'm above it all. So for me, I use it as motivation. So if somebody tell me I can't do something, I don't have to prove to them that I can do it. I'm just gonna just say I know what I'm doing. I'm going to stick to my guns and do what I've been doing that's got me to this point now. Because most people just want to just see the success coming, and all they want to do is just throw a wrench in it. So you got to stay on the path. I know the journey I'm on. I know the path that I'm on that God has put in front of me, and I'm going to continue to keep chucking on to that path.
Hey, and that's good advice too. Like for any
Mhm.
of you youngsters listening, take that advice. Just be yourself and go on your own path. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
respect, respect. So later on this year, you came out with on March 1st with the Fame EP.
Yes.
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 So you want to kind of break that one down?
So the Fame EP was kind of like it kind of was a shot to the fame. Everybody out here wants to be so famous, and I'm just like, most of the people that we known growing up that was famous, they're famous, and they're known for what they've done, but people really didn't know most of these famous people that passed on, right?
Hmm.
So you think about some of our legends that passed on, and you think about um Martin Luther King and Dr. King. Well, we say, oh, those guys was famous. What about their families? What about their families when those guys got assassinated and put in the ground?
Hmm.
What about their families? We always think about the famous person, but we never think about the people that's beside them. A wife or a daughter, somebody losing the family. So for me, I'm always a person where my wife said, you got to stop saying that. I said, I don't want to be famous because I see all the bull crap that most famous people go through, and
Hmm.
it's like a responsibility or something like that in this world to be famous, and it's not. Like you don't have to walk around feeling like the world is on your shoulder because you're famous. So the Fame
Right.
EP was kind of like me trolling the fame. I don't want the fame. I don't want it. If you listen to the actual lead single off of there, The
Hmm.
Fame, it was me basically telling them like F the fame. I don't want to curse on on your platform, but F the fame.
Hmm.
I don't want the fame. I don't want it.
Hmm.
So that's where the Fame EP came from, was me kind of, I wouldn't say trolling. I don't like the word trolling. I'm gonna say just me just telling people that I don't really care for the fame. I think when I was younger and and I think I was learning, as I
Hmm.
learned along the way, I'm like, the fame is to be famous is the biggest responsibility you could ever have, the biggest
Yeah.
responsibility you could ever have. And we've seen some of our people get cut down with the fame. Like look at Kanye, and I'm not saying Kanye's all the way off; he's still up there. But look at Kanye. Look what it does to you. It does.
Yeah.
You could be at the top of your peak, and then within the midst of something, you know, depression or something comes along the way, and it can chop you down like a tree. So for me, that's what the Fame EP was all about. Forget the fame. That's why if you look at it, I had the
Hmm.
Hollywood on the cover, and then the Hollywood was kind of painted out. And then now with the stuff we know what's going on in Hollywood now,
Yeah.
I've kind of feel like I know what I was talking about when I put out the Fame EP.
Yeah. Definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
Like being famous, it is not what it's cracked up to be. Your
It's
personal life is everybody makes it their business. Like you said, depression sets in and all of that. So I don't know. Some people want it cool, but I'd rather just do what I love and enjoy life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my kid, like, let me tell you something. Even if the world doesn't see me as being famous, my kids think I'm famous. But I don't even want the fame. I don't even want them to look at me as being famous. I'm just regular old dad. And I'm just here to make sure you get to where you need to get in your life, the right way. So that's really more important to me than being famous. And being an everyday Joe and a father and a husband, that's fame to me. That's what fame is. And a lot of people are highlighted off of um And it's nothing wrong with it because I'm a creative as well. There's nothing wrong with you gaining fame off of your creativity because at some point you worked hard to get there. But some
Right.
point, don't let that fame work you like a workhorse and cost you your life or, you know, cost you to change up who you really are in this world. You know, because a lot of people forget who they are when the fame goes to their head and it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like you can't get them back. You can't, they're at the moon now. You can't even get them from the moon because they feel like, hey, I'm better than everybody. And that's not what this is about.
Right, exactly. I feel that,
Hmm
and we know the fame, the vision, all of your music that's out on all platforms
It's
too.
on.
Just
It's
throwing it out there.
everywhere. Everywhere digital media platform, anywhere. Title, all that stuff. Spotify, Apple Music. Yeah, go out there. Go tap in with Notes 82. I think I got a special catalog of music that I definitely would like to get more fans to tap in with Notes 82.
Definitely, they definitely have to tap in. So on IG, follow at notes82 underscore. For the
Yep.
radio listeners too, again at notes82 underscore. Don't forget that
Yes.
underscore.
hmm
And that
Yep.
gets them to everywhere they need to be too. So
Yep. It
that's
does.
a good thing.
Yep.
And what you also have coming up, which we do have, some of the cover art back here. It's very aesthetic. We have
Yep.
cover art, the album coming out next year, right?
Yes, yes, we do. Yes, we do. Um, this year, I wanted to, I dropped the two EPs and I wanted to for the rest of the year get everybody ready for cover art. And I think cover art, and I can say I love all bodies of work that I put out, but this right here is going to be something special for 2025. And the reason why I say it's going to be special, um, I could put out music like that because when I get to writing and I get into that zone, I can
Hmm.
release so much project. But this one is so special to me because now I'm really unveiling Notes 82 and what I've been going through. And I'm expressing myself a little bit more on this project. So you guys are gonna get something. You guys are in for a treat for 2025. I'm really gonna really gonna bog down, lock myself in the studio, and give you guys a classic album because I think the game needs that.
Nice, nice. And I'm sure there's going to be some visuals attached to it too,
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of visuals. I know I put out a couple of snippets of some of the songs. I can give you a rundown, a couple of artists that's going to be featured on it. I still
Okay.
got a couple of more that's kind of like a question mark for now, but it's cool. I'm not putting the album out yet. But I
Right.
know one of my brothers, Clef, he's R&B singer. He's going to be on something called Dream. It's a Biggie sample that we have from the Juicy sample that Biggie did.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Floss, who actually asked a question on the podcast today, he's gonna be on it. Um, one of I call him one of my pups, but he's a grown man. But I watched him grow up where I was from in East New York, and he's gonna be on the Jerry G. He's on I think the name of the record is 99 Views. He's gonna be on that one, and then a couple of people. I'm trying to get Chris Crown to get on this, but Crown is kind of like he's in that zone. He's on fire right now, moving and grooving. So I'm gonna definitely try to get with him. I'm supposed to be going to Houston in July to actually finish up the rest of the project because I got at least 10 songs done. I'm putting 21 songs on it. So
Okay.
I'm trying to get with my engineer out there. Shout out to King Sage. And we're gonna make history. I'm gonna shoot a little doc series for it as well. So you guys will get a chance to see Notes 82 in the studio, the process, um, how me and Sage connect. I know Johnny Floss is probably supposed to be coming with me to Houston too. So yeah, you guys are in for a treat. A lot of visuals. If I'm gonna be honest with you, it might be a visual for every single song on that album, to be honest.
Oh
So
wow.
it's gonna be, and that's why I've been careful with dropping my single. I'm gonna wait till I finish
Mm-hmm.
all the records, and then we'll sit at the drawing board, and I'll say, okay, this is a single I want to put out. But cover art, the album is coming out in 2025.
Nice, nice. And you said there's 21 songs. Is there a significance to the amount of songs to 21, or did it just turn out that way?
It just turned out that way. I mean, to be honest with you, I was gonna do what kind of 21 songs is kind of like a double album. I was gonna actually do a double album.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna do like at least 25 songs. And I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know. I might do a double album. I don't know. I'm still
Right.
in that process, and I'm enjoying the creative process of it. This is the first album that I'm taking my time and I'm literally like, okay, nope, I don't want that song. Yep, I want that one. Yes, I want that. I'm picky with everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I've gotten now in the process now where I have all the beats that I purchased and stuff like that. And it's just now about going in, recording, and just putting them in the order that I wanted to put in. But I'm giving everybody a classic album. You can hear that from me, and you can play this back a year from now, and I'm definitely people are gonna be like, yeah, he said it, and it's gonna be one, and it definitely is. It definitely is gonna be a classic.
Right. Well, hey, you can come back and talk, when that's out.
Yes.
Hey, you're always welcome to come back and talk,
Yep.
break that down too. So there you
I
go.
I definitely will come back. I definitely will. I definitely will.
Definitely appreciate that. And then one final question for you. So
Hmm.
what legacy does Notes 82 want to leave behind?
Oh man, legacy. I like that word. I always like that word, legacy. I want, and it's gonna sound funny, right? Everybody always say I want the world to remember me,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like my legacy is gonna be when my kids can tell my grandchildren that your grandfather did everything in his power to get on with this music, and if he didn't get on, he put up a fight the whole way through. So that's my legacy. That's my legacy. I want my children to tell their children, and then my grandchildren tell their children, tell their children that, look, grandpa wasn't he wasn't famous, but for that short period of time, he damn sure everybody knew who Notes 82 was. So that's what I want. I want the generations beyond my generations to remember what I did far as when it came to music.
That's dope. That's a great legacy,
Hmm.
timeless and just have it, continuing.
Yep. Yep.
You know? Yep. So, before we close it out, we have like one more visual from the Fame EP, Hip Hop Therapy. But before
Okay.
we play that, do you want to kind of like talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, so hip hop therapy, actually the EP that was supposed to be the vision, I had an idea of calling it hip hop therapy.
Right.
And it just didn't feel right, me doing a project called Hip Hop Therapy. But I did have a lead song, a lead single, and it's the same thing. Was home, right? And this one I actually wrote two verses to, and I said, man, this would be dope if I can get another artist on this. And I'm always a person where I'm tapped in with a lot of people's music.
Mm-hmm.
So here is where I tapped in with my brother Johnny Floss. And we are brothers, but I'm always tapped in to his music. And I said, man, I think this record right here would be different for me and him because it's a different type of vibe. He's kind of like, you know, he has the bars and stuff like that. He tends more to the ladies, which I like that. He got bars, he tends to the ladies, and I kind of substance music and stuff like this. And I just felt like I think it would mesh well.
Mm-hmm.
So hip hop therapy, I came up with the hook first. I did my verse. I sent this to Johnny, and the rest is history. Hip hop therapy is one. I think hip hop therapy is one of my best songs that I've ever written with somebody featured on it, along with my Martin and Malcolm, because those
Mm-hmm.
Martin and Malcolm is probably my favorite, but this is definitely a top five when we talk about writtens. It's a top five song to me.
Nice, nice. And that's a great, to feel that way about, your own, work. That's a dope thing,
Yeah, yeah,
you
definitely.
know. Definitely. So, before we play that, I definitely want to thank you, Notes 82 for coming on, gracing the platform and,
Yes.
just having a good conversation, with substance, it was dope.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Like I told you, I appreciate anybody, especially you. I appreciate anybody that recognizes a creative that's doing something positive, and you reached out to me, and like I said, I will never turn anybody down. Once you reach out to me, I'm not going to turn you down. I am going to be on your platform. We're going to be talking just like how we are talking here. So I definitely kudos to you for having a phenomenal platform, and for you
Thank
asking me
you.
to grace the presence of your platform. This is what we need. We need more of this to make everybody feel important, and that's what it's supposed to be. That's the main goal. You doing this made me feel important. I know I'm important, but it made me feel more important because it makes me feel like people are really paying attention to what you got going on.
Hey, hey, I appreciate that. That's what it's about, peace, love, and positivity, spreading the gems, giving a
Yes.
platform to, just positive individuals, just
Yes.
doing their thing and spreading the message. That's what it's about.
Hmm.
we
Yes, ma'am.
activated, you know?
Yep, definitely. We definitely are activated. Yes.
Definitely. And, you know, so before we close out with hip hop therapy, are there any shout outs that you want to give as well?
Well, I definitely, like I said, with my legacy, I want to shout out my kids, all three of them. I love Lamont, I love Isaac, I love Sophia, and even shout out to my wife. I love her too, because those they are my motivation when it comes to doing this music. Without them, I probably wouldn't even be doing hip hop. I still probably wouldn't even be an artist right now. But by the grace of God, with them by my side,
Hmm.
I'm grateful for the life that I have. Definitely. And shout out you. I definitely want to shout you out again. Um,
Thank
if,
you.
if anybody's on here that follows me, guess what? Go ahead to this platform, follow this platform, and make it known that you're an artist sometimes. Sometimes it's not bad reaching out to somebody, letting them know what you do, you know? So shout out to you, definitely.
Thank
Shout out
you.
to your whole brand, shout out to your artist. I know I've seen a lot of stuff that he has going on and stuff like that, but shout out to everybody on this journey and doing what they got to do to show people their creative side. So yeah, that's it.
Hey, hey, thank you. You know, appreciate, you know, definitely appreciate it. You know, definitely appreciate you, you know, checking out my artist King Kamal's work as well. You know, like I said, it's a community, and, you know, I just love to see positive individuals checking each other out and just building. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's it. That's it. That's how we're gonna keep hip hop going. Is with the partnerships and us not hating on each other, but actually building each other up and going and helping and supporting each other's platforms. Because that's how you're gonna get stuff done in this world, by supporting each other.
Definitely. So less hating, you know, more supporting, more genuine support. That's what's needed out here.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, definitely.
You know, definitely. And, you know, I want to shout out, you know, you again, you know, coming on, gracing the platform, you know, definitely have my support. And, you know, shout out to everybody, you know, tapping in on the live, sharing the live, following each other. You know, that's what it's all about, you know?
Yes, yep, definitely, definitely.
Definitely. So, you know, we're going to close out, you know, with hip hop therapy, you know, definitely a great song and visual, you know, to close out Activated. But, you know, again, I want to, you know, wish everybody, you know, peace and love. And here we go with hip hop therapy. Let's go.
Something new. Tell me what's it gonna be. I'm just trying to find some peace on the road to success. All my dogs gonna eat. Flights around the world, all eyes on me. Music is a drug, I need hip hop therapy. Tell me what's it gonna be. I'm just trying to find some peace on the road to success. All my dogs gonna eat. Flights around the world, all eyes on me. Music is a drug, I need hip hop therapy. Now I done seen the toughest motherfuckers get hit. Me and my crew run the city causing fits. Rappers on the outside trying to make it in. All about the bag, but the culture need a shift. Playing suicide, but the doors don't lift. Champagne drip, pour some liquor, take a sip. Surprising I'm alive, all you haters get a grip. You see we doing good on the grind, can't forget. I lost a lot of homies on my way to see the top. Survival of the fittest till my casket really drop. Mobbing on the block, lots of homies got shot. Man, it's all the plot, all eyes on the cops. Came from the bottom, but the hate will never stop. Was itching for a spot, now I own the spot. You see I'm really faded, changed my name to Static Shot. Black owned, baby, bring a business to the block. Tell me what's it gonna be. I'm just trying to find some peace on the road to success. All my dogs gonna eat. Flights around the world, all eyes on me. Music is a drug, I need hip hop therapy. Tell me what's it gonna be. I'm just trying to find some peace on the road to success. All my dogs gonna eat. Flights around the world, all eyes on me. Music is a drug, I need hip hop therapy.
Yo. The music is a drug, and yeah, I got it bad. Doctors keep trying to get me to stay in rehab. Throw the beat on, I can't help but listen. When I hit the booth, that's the only prescription. Try to take it away, of course I get fed. Sending all type of nurses to give me some meds. Sometimes it gets tragic, and the flow crazy. That's why they never take off the straight jacket. Doing this before Notes watch the view. And yeah, my bars are regular at Bellevue. While before that, I had to bring up the notes. Got the stamp of approval. Yeah, I pushed the envelope too cold. Right now, grab a coat, can't channel my talent even with a remote. Way my voice projects, you would think that it's thunder. Sincerely yours, your favorite punches.
Tell me what's it gonna be. I'm just trying to find some peace on the road to success. All my dogs gonna eat. Flights around the world, all eyes on me. Music is a drug, I need hip hop therapy. Tell me what's it gonna be. I'm just trying to find some peace on the road to success. All my dogs gonna eat. Flights around the world, all eyes on me. Music is a drug, I need hip hop therapy. Tell me what's it gonna be. On the road to success, all my dogs gonna eat. All eyes on me. Got any hip-hop therapy? Tell me what's it gonna be. On the road to success, all my dogs gonna eat. All eyes on me. Got any